Atiku Abubakar and Buhari, I said it was quite clear that the people would vote for Buhari.
Okay. Now,
that was not an endorsement, it was a statement of fact. That if you limited the choice to only two people, Atiku Abubakar and General Buhari, people will tend to vote for General Buhari.
But Mr. Unongo, you know the...
Well, you say it's a statement of fact, but they will say it's based on no empirical evidence.
Well,
there's been no poll done to see where the odds would lie.
Well, you can take my experience in Nigerian systems and the politics of this country, and it is not fair for me to stand up and say, I agree with you. But that was my opinion. And it is the opinion of the people I interact with. It was
Mr. Unongo,
that if there were only two candidates, this sort of scenario, it was likely to be repeated.
Mr. Unongo, you know, the political realities, you talk about how Nigerians are the ones who empower a president to become, and that's true. But the political realities of grassroots support, those who hold certain traditional structures across the north, across the country, these are the things that factor into throwing up who will win, even in the political party structure, operation. So I want to ask you, sir, if we even beyond the two candidates that you now have mentioned, who do you think are some of the potential alternatives when you talk about grassroots influence in the north?
Well, Atiku Abubakar is one of the possible candidates that certainly has indicated. And he was a vice president before. Then there is the governor of Kano State who is indicating and his supporters. The former governor from Kano State, who is an engineer, Kwankwaso, is indicating. Then people are looking at how the governor of Borno, Shetima, has handled the crisis, and they are thinking about him. And there is a young man from Sokoto who is the governor. He was the Speaker of the Federal House of Representatives. People are thinking. You see, we go through a process of examining all our northern possibilities and possibles. We examine both the possibilities and the possibles. And I said there are many possibles. And if we throw the weight behind one of them, the chances are that that person would win the election.
I want to talk about, one of the issues that President Obasanjo raised in his letter, which you have also spoken on severally, the farmer herdsmen crisis.
Yes.
You seem to have something against former Vice President Atiku Abubakar because you've accused him pointedly of sponsoring the attacks. However, the former president, is wondering why it's been very tough to handle the farmer herdsman crisis. Were you trying to exonerate current President Muhammadu Buhari?
No. I'm glad that you gave me an opportunity to explain. What I said, and it was a cry out, the people who ought to end this crisis, first it is the government. And if the government had failed to end it, there was one Nigerian that stood tall before the Tiv people. He's a prince in the court of the Tiv. And he is called the Zege Mule of Tiv, which means this is the biggest shade. This is he is like the armor of the Tiv people. And I do know, he is a great man, and he's inside this organization, he is the most influential person. And the organization is vocal in claiming that it is responsible for organizing these attacks. These attacks do nobody any good. So I felt that with his influence, which I know within that organization and in the country, if the government fails, he should intervene.
But then you threatened to raise a militia. I mean, which then, for a lot of people would say that you totally lack confidence in President Buhari's ability to be able to stop the crisis.
I premised the possibilities. I said, look at the history of Nigeria. Most of the soldiers that fought in the I don't know about the first, but the Second World War came from my place. And then in the Biafran War of Nigerian unity, they also came from this place. and we took the largest casualty. And I said, if you saw these gory pictures of people being killed in this way, and the authority that is responsible for protecting you was not acting, what else is left for you? When you saw 73 boxes, and they were called coffins, and inside them were butchered people that were being buried, everybody was crying. You had to talk to let the government know that this is not an easy, ordinary, everyday affair.
Are you happy with the response of the current president, Buhari?
Now,
yes,
he has started acting.
On the matter of the farmer herdsmen.
I was not happy from the beginning, but after all these cries that we cried out to him and cried to Atiku, he took action. He sent an increased police force, and I regret, as soon as the very day he did that, 2 police officers were shot dead by this organization. And we are very grateful that that took place. But I repeat, in this country, if we want to build a strong country, nobody who gets into power should give the impression